So, I'm going to talk about I'm in Adobe Illustrator CC, and there's some new features that I really like. Some of them have been around for a while, but I really like the new pencil tool. You can see it here where my pointer is. If I hold, double tap, you even have a fidelity option to make it smooth or less smooth, and other options you can see there. Very nice. So if I draw an S, you can see, because of the fidelity was one less, it puts quite a bit of points on there. In the old days it was even more than that. But I can bring it up, make it smoother, draw my S. Pretty good. You can use the smooth tool to draw an S on top of the S, or even just some of the curves. You can, sometimes when you have a really complicated image, it'll really clean it up. But I select those, hit delete, and it deletes them. But here's what I like. So if I take this tool, draw a cartoon circle, practically a circle, and I select it, and then go to default. Up here in the top you'll see my stroke. I can put it up 4, but I'll probably go like 7. I love these little brushes you get. And there's all kinds. You can see some extra ones that I've been adding over time. This one's pretty good, or this one. You can see you have some thick and thin. I like this one because it has a little bulge, but it doesn't go super thin. Like if you use this one, you might want to. I think it goes a little too thin, but it's still nice. I do use that one. And the beauty of it, copy, paste, Command C, Command V on my Mac. PC, I believe it's Alt instead of Command. So then I can select, hold Shift to maintain the same shape. Pull it down, invert, and get rid. I'm working down here. You can see, get rid of the white outline, and now I have a pupil. Control C, Control V, shrink. Let's go white. Now I have a little shine on my pupil. And this works pretty good. Select the whole thing. In the black arrow, select outside what I want and just drag over the whole thing. And then Command G will group them. So if I just select any part of that eye, it'll select the whole eye. Hold Shift and Option and drag to the side. Shift just keeps it in alignment. And when I release, because I have Option, if you see my cursor, or not cursor, my pointer, you'll see that it's like a double arrow, and that means it's going to duplicate it. But then I hit Command X and Command V for pasting back. Command X will delete it and paste it back. Then I use my arrow keys to position, and I could position with just my selection tool by clicking and dragging, but I like to use this and go up a little bit maybe. So now we have some cool cartoony eyes. And here I'll show you. Let's draw with the nice nose here. I came up black. I can easily, or it came out white, but I can easily select it and change it to black. Because of the thick and thin, it has that really nice style. X front is in front. And I can fill it with white. This works sometimes because it's going to draw a line from here, this end point to this point. It should work out. But it's really better to close all your objects when working in Illustrator. Sometimes you want to see, if I do that, see where the line is. So I just have it off just a little bit so that it still looks okay. And of course, with the selection tool, we can modify any of these little points. That's why I love Illustrator. And if I want to, as I was showing you earlier, I can go in here and use the smooth tool. So there's not that many points. The old Illustrator would have hundreds, even thousands of points sometimes. It's not that many. It's really nice. And I can grab this Blob brush tool, which I like as well. And I'm on a tablet, but you know, you can change the size. And because I'm on a tablet, I have pressure sensitivity, so if I press hard, I get really thick lines, and light, I get really lines. The Blob brush is cool, and you can get some really neat illustration effects. But I've been using this new pencil tool because you have more control, and you can get some cool thick and thin like I used to use the Blob brush for. But I still use the Blob brush to fill in areas like this. Clean this guy up a little bit. Then grab my Blob brush. Just fill it in. I can flip my pen over and erase. And if you don't have a pen, you can still use your mouse and just click, here's the eraser tool right there. And we'll go to, oh, I'm holding down Option to go from zoom in. You can see a plus cursor on my screen to minus by holding Option, and it'll zoom in. Really excellent. So I have this character starting. Save it. Let's call it Test Cartoon. Now I will draw with my brush tool again, or my pencil tool, sorry. Get this guy in here. Just so we can see that, don't think it took, we'll make it black. Pretty nice. Or now, with the ear still selected, I can edit these paths if I want to just tweak it as I draw. I find that incredible too. Here, see, give it a bigger earlobe. That's nice. But if I don't actually touch the blue lines, I can add the inner part of the ear. Done. One thing I do like to do too is sometimes you get these little choppy parts. So if I select it and I go over to my stroke on the right hand side here, you'll see this little stroke. And you have different options for how it does corners and endpoints, and I like to round them out. I don't always use it. Sometimes I'll have multiple strokes or different strokes done in different ways, but I do like it. Now, you can see, let's give this guy some hair. Make sure I don't have anything selected because I don't want to modify anything. I want to draw new. So when I give this guy hair, I'm going to do it this. Pretty good. I can go to this tool, get rid of some of these points, just smooth it out a little bit. You can always have full control on the handles, or even my smooth tool. Very nice. Now you'll see this part I want in front and this part I want behind, and we're chopping that off. There's a couple ways I can deal with that, but the easiest way in this case is Control X, Control front for that ear, and we're laughing. So now this hairdo, you can add a few more pieces, like just to give it some texture. Some way that it's moving. Sorry if my mic is coming in and out. I'm having some problems. But, I think I got it under control. So this guy looking not bad. And I can draw some mouth here. Let's make sure I select all because I don't want to modify, I want to draw. So we'll do this. So let's go in here. Now you'll see it just drew basic, doesn't have to thick and thin. So I can highlight it, add it up here, done. One thing I want to show you though is that if you have this and you can't get one of these to work exactly as you like it because it's thin there, but probably want it more thin up here. This is the beauty of this tool. So I select it, and then if you look on the left hand side here, you'll see this tool. It's like a squiggly line with a couple handles on it. Grab that. I'm going to zoom in. Grab that tool, and you'll see anywhere on this line you can modify the thick and thin of it. So I could grab, like, it doesn't even have to be on a point, but most of the time you do grab 2 points. Just stretch it out, and it does the modification for you. I'll undo that. I'll go to here and do it. So that it's not as thin. And then maybe here, like I said, maybe I want it thin here. So, I mean, I like it the way it is, but that's for demo. Grab on here. Instantly thinner. It just blows my mind. It's so amazing. That actually looks pretty good. So now I can grab this. I'm just holding down Command because it'll jump back to the last tool I had, or the other alternate tool. It's pretty nice. See how the stroke looks funny because it's using that weird thick and thin that I had on the last one. That's okay. Highlight it. Go right back to that. Less. And wait. Looking pretty good. Cheek. Chin. There. Here. There you have a crazy character. Has the inside of the do this because I closed it off. I can convert it to make it black. I mean, I think you turned it pretty good. The beauty of the stroke is I can erase. If I erase now, making my brush bigger, it'll erase everything and redraw. If I highlight a certain section, it'll only erase those bits. So I could like highlight this guy, go like this, and zoom in on it, go. Of course, it's being finicky. You see how it rounds out? So this would be one of those situations where I'll square it off. Still want some thick and thin play in my art. So you can see how in the middle I pinched it in. You know, some thick and thin. Bring it back. Still control the handles any way I want to. Thick and thin, great cartoony look. We can do it here as well. Very sensitive for all the control I have. But because it's such a small line, maybe I don't even need this middle. Get rid of it. Should look pretty good. We'll zoom in and take a look. But I tell you, I love that stroke tool. Very interesting. But you notice how we played with the thick and thin. It's really fun. You can also do all kinds of crazy stuff with your stroke. So I can take this, and instead of having the basic stroke on, I can maybe turn it into like a chalk drawing or a pencil drawing. Just like that. Click off. Looks more like I did it with chalk. Still completely vector, still completely controllable. And the beauty is still completely able to thick and thin it. this tool. I love this tool. Width tool, they call it. And even though it's chalk, you can still play with the thick and thin. Very awesome. And there's all kinds of different brushes. You can load them in here, like calligraphy brushes, chalk and pencil brushes. Different effects, see which one works best. And you think, oh, well, I kind of like this one, but it's a bit thin. You got to be careful with the weight of your brush, because in the old days it was however many points thickness you made the stroke. When you start playing with the width tool, you could have something that's 1, go in and make it really wide, and it's still 1, or it sort of modifies it, but it can sometimes get tricky. You'll think it's too thick, and you'll take it down, but because of the width adjustment, it does funny things. See how thick that was at 3? You can just take it down. Make it a 1. That's pretty nice. Now we're going to get even crazier. Move this over here. Go here. Let's draw a building really fast. Maybe I'll go grab a building I have. File. Open. Let's see. You'll see some craziness going on in this thing. Let me just show you what I got. There's a couple of books. There's some fun. I'll rotate this. So you can see they do look like buildings. I had some fun here with the Distortion Tool, which you'll find here on the left. It's a box with an arrow with a bunch of dots on it. And the Distortion Tool, I hold Option, Shift, Command, and different combinations of those buttons to control in different ways. Do Option, see. Distort all over the place for perspective, great creativity. What I did with this guy was drew it out just regular, like all these points are regular strokes. See, it has the thick and thin, it's only 5.8. You need to select all the points in order to see the stroke, but you can see it's a simple shape, simple drawing. But watching, I'll show you some magic. So that's one, and this one here has 3 windows instead. Same idea though. As I zoom in, you'll see different points, different thicknesses, or different strokes. I could change it up. I could change it to sketchy if I wanted to. See, big complex files start to bog down the computer. But if I just do it normal, 0.5, this looks pretty damn good. Nice little stylized building. If I take this building, group it, copy it, group it. I like to turn them sideways. Hold down Shift when I use the rotate tool, and it'll snap to exactly sideways. It's really nice. And what I can do is, this is the magic of this tool, and on the left here, this width tool. I'm telling you, it's so great. So on the right hand side, you'll see brushes. Drag this building into my brushes palette. And then it asks for what type of brush I want to do. Scatter brush, which would scatter a whole bunch of different sized buildings along a line. Or pattern brush, one building after the other after the other. They don't really work for this demo. I want to show you. I take art brush. Okay, shows me how the building will be along the stroke. It's amazing. And with this pencil tool, I can draw buildings in just wacky, crazy, cartoony, manipulated world. You'll see what I mean. Watch the magic. So it didn't apply the building, but you'll see I can select it in the brushes instantly. I have like Escher style crazy buildings. Now this might be really nuts, right? Like, oh my god, it's so crazy. If I shrink it down, it still maintains the building. And you can go on the right hand side to the stroke, change the stroke, set it to 1 point, 2 point. You start, if such a big one like this, you might want to make your, just scale it 25%. And the reason I do that is because now when I make the brush, I'll have more playability with the stroke. See, that's 1, but now it's 2, 3, rather than 0.1, 0.2. But here's where it gets even crazier. So with this building, I can clean this up a little bit. Show you some wild effects. And we're building here. But maybe at the top I want it to stretch out. So believe it or not, I can actually use this and stretch the top of my building. How cool is that? Is that not the coolest thing? And then I can copy the line over. And modify it back. Doing the opposite. Just crazy building effects. Copy that line over. Maybe bring it back. Let's try it. Now my building, I already have a little sort of taper on the bottom. Maybe you would design your building straight and then do all your tapering in here. It does get crazy. And here's some other beautiful parts you can do with this. So if I copy this over, this, right? You can expand it out, and then a while back you'd go Object, Expand Appearance, and it looks like now you've lost all your editing capabilities. Well, you have the stroke, but what you regained back was all of the editing capabilities with your line work. See, this is all regular line, yeah. Which means, like, maybe as I did the manipulation, I thought the lines were too thick. I can grab this, change the weight to like 0.5. Maybe they were too thick, so 0.25. You can see how these lines are a little bit thicker than those lines. Maybe that's what I like. Maybe I don't. It's totally up to you. But you can create some wild building effects. Let's try it with this guy. rotate on it, hold down shift. Maybe I'll shrink them down because I don't want to. I want more playability in my stroke. Copy this over. On the right hand side, grab it. Oh, stop that. This applies the building to all the little substrokes because I outlined that. I'll undo that. That out of the way. Grab this one that's actually a stroke. Copy that one. I'm pretty sure it's there, it's stroke, but it's not using this. Which we can also find. Just like that. We made some cool building. And you can see all the different buildings I did here. And all these. These ones here are all the same. They're just different different stroke sizes. You see the stroke size on this one, 1 point, 1.5, 2, 2, 3. Threes. Here's with 2 windows and 3 windows on each panel. That's crazy. You can do anything you can do with a stroke. You can now stroke and move a building. This is great for all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be buildings. Like maybe I want this with just a little more life. So I can go here. Put that in. Open it. Art brush. Okay. Look at those 3 buildings together. Now I have a little bit more life. A bit more craziness. Just quite fun. You can even go crazy with it. Sometimes I like to do things like just to see, just for fun. Make a star shape. Get some cool texture sometimes. You have to be careful though, it can overwhelm your computer. Like that looks a bit crazy, but you find in some kind of graffiti art. Let's bring the stroke down and see if it helps. Still kind of a crazy piece, but can't really tell they were buildings. Sometimes circles are nice. This is not as neat as I like this one. This here is pretty cool. But you get the point. And pardon me. So that's strokes. I love my character. love the new pencil tool, especially combined with the new stroke tool and the width tool. Hope this was helpful. Visit me at, you can find my blog and everything I'm involved in at billmurphy.ca, BILLMURPHY.ca. Let me know what you think, and maybe I'll do more.